Okay, so before I start this video, I just want to say, wow, I was not expecting this. So thank you guys. The support that I've received and that we've received over the past video, yesterday's video, has been incredible. So in case you haven't seen that video, it's by far the biggest video that I have ever made. It's called The Future ZONEofTECH, but it's mostly me talking about the past, the present, and yeah, the future of ZONEofTECH. So yeah, definitely check that video out because that's a huge one. And yeah, thank you, honestly. From the bottom of my heart, the response has been incredible, and I was really not expecting that kind of response. Okay, so in terms of this actual video, Apple is working on a foldable, flexible iPhone for release around 2020, and this would be one of the biggest innovations to come to the tech industry since the original iPhone came out in 2007. So this is huge, guys. Not as huge as that video, by the way. But yeah, here's everything you need to know about the foldable, flexible iPhone. Okay, so 2019 is the year of flexible and foldable phones. So we've seen the first actual foldable phone, the Royale Flex Pi, at CES 2019, and we know that Samsung's been working on their own version of a flexible phone, the Galaxy X, for a while now. It's not going to be called the Galaxy X, by the way. They teased it at the developer conference in late 2018. They will be showing it again this week at Samsung's Impact 2019, actually tomorrow, and it's going to be called the Galaxy Fold. This was actually confirmed by Eve Leaks in a recent tweet. But then Huawei's also working on their own flexible phone as well, which they would be announcing at MWC 2019. And then Xiaomi has already demoed their own, which is up until this point the best one by far. Then Lenovo's also working on a foldable phone. So yeah, pretty much everyone is working on one, all the big players except for Apple. So why is that? Why is Apple not working on such a big thing when everyone else is? Well, throughout the years, you probably noticed that Apple was almost never the first to the party. The iPhone, which completely revolutionized the smartphone industry, was not the world's first touchscreen phone or the world's first smartphone. The iPad, literally a more common word than the word tablet is, which completely changed the tablet industry, was not the first tablet. The AirPods, the most innovative pair of wireless headphones, were also not the first wireless headphones on the market. So you see, Apple was not the first at many products, but what they've managed to do was improve on something that already existed. This is what Apple has been doing forever, and this is what they do best. So they polish off technologies that didn't work so well, but technologies in which they see potential. And flexible phones are pretty much the same thing. Apple is waiting for others to make their first move before they make theirs. By the way, Apple's actually doing a similar thing with 5G as well. So the upcoming Galaxy S10, Samsung Galaxy S10, would be one of the world's first smartphones to come with a 5G network support. 5G allows for a theoretical speed of over 10 gigabits per second, so that's compared to 1 gigabit per second that 4G can achieve. So, you know, it's a really big thing. Latency is significantly lower, and most of the 2019 flagship smartphones would indeed feature 5G support, but Apple won't. So it's the same thing again. They're waiting on others to release the tech first so that they can better analyze the market. This and the fact that Intel hasn't released the 5G modem yet, as Apple's actually having some legal issues and battles with Qualcomm, so they won't be including the Qualcomm 5G modem in their iPhones. They have to use Intel, which again, they haven't released their modem yet. So what's happening with Apple's foldable iPhone in that case? Well, interesting enough, Apple has actually applied for a few patents recently on a foldable iPhone, and there's a lot of them really. So a lot of completely different folding mechanisms, some that fold in an S, in an L, among with some completely unique designs that Apple is apparently working on. One of them is showing the phone being bent in half using a folding mechanism that's very similar to the one found in the Samsung Galaxy Fold with its rounded fold, whereas the second patent is showing a hinge mechanism alongside a more squared off design. And the second design is the one that I find to be the more interesting one. So yes, the hinge does look odd, but we rendered this into a concept, and to be honest, I do prefer the way the squared off hinge would look and work. Think of this as when you're closing the lid of a MacBook Pro, so it's pretty much the exact same thing, only with two displays instead of, just one display and a keyboard. But considering that Apple has so many patents on this, it's pretty clear that they're just waiting for others to release their foldable smartphones first and, analyze the market based on that. So yeah, you might have noticed how all the major smartphone manufacturers are working on foldable smartphones, except for Apple, and then also, interesting enough, LG. And the report coming from Forbes shows what LG had to say regarding their own foldable phones. The market demand for smartphones is expected to be at around 1 million, but LG's main issue in the smartphone business is to regain its market position. Considering the situation, it is too early for LG to launch a foldable smartphone. In terms of the technology, we are fully ready to respond depending on the consumer's reactions to foldable smartphones. So just like Apple, LG is waiting to see what others would do, and based on how well foldable smartphones are received, that's how they will change, and adapt and evolve and work on their own. And if you look at the Royale Flex Pi, the first foldable phone to be ever shown, so that's the one that was shown at CES 2019 and the one that I talked about before, that thing had so many issues. It was supposed to be released already, but no one that bought it has received it yet, so that's a bit odd. And everyone who's seen it in person at CES 2019 said that the display looked odd and wrong and completely messed up. So not only were the colors washed out, but there was a lot of image banding and display imperfections, which were mostly caused by, whatever flexible panel Royale used on this phone. Samsung's, Xiaomi's, and more than likely Huawei's foldable phones would be a more polished and finalized version, and then, Apple's, going by their past, they should have the most polished version yet whenever, the foldable iPhone is going to be released, which should be around 2020 to 2021. Okay, but what advantages would we get by having a foldable phone? Well, of course that there's going to be a few gimmicky ones, just normal phones that bend in half on the inside. Even Apple has a concept of this, but the main idea of foldable phones is to have a tablet that folds into a smaller phone when you need something that's more portable, and then back into a tablet for when you need something with a larger display. So realistically, this foldable iPhone would be around the same size as an iPad mini 4, just with the display extended up until the edges. So essentially this would be, think of it as an iPad Pro 2018 design, just in a smaller iPad mini body. And it would fold in half, and the resulting device would be an iPhone, just with a more squared off design than what we have now. Even though Apple has patents on both an inner and an outer fold, what they'll probably go ahead with is a device that can do both. You fold it on the outside when you want to turn it into a phone, and then on the outside when you want to turn it into something that's easier to carry around, and therefore, you want to protect your device's display, which would be on the inside. So, okay, you're all probably wondering, where would the camera module be placed on this thing? Like, where would it be? Well, realistically, the only region where Apple could place it on, that would be on the frame. So in this case, we would have a raisable camera module, just like we do on the Vivo Nex. There's no other way to place it aside from this, since, if you put it on the back, you would not be able to use it when the device is in phone mode. And personally, I think that a foldable tablet it's an amazing idea. It's a brilliant idea. I mean, at the moment, a lot of people, including myself, have 3 separate devices. A phone, then a tablet for viewing content and, more casual work, as well as a laptop for doing more advanced work. Having a foldable phone would eliminate the need for a tablet altogether. So yeah, this is huge. And there's also been quite a few interesting patents and even prototypes like this one from Lenovo, which is a regular smartphone that folds into a smartwatch. How cool is that? And it literally wraps around your wrist. That's awesome. So, this is where the future is heading towards. Samsung was the first, or actually the one, to pioneer foldable tech. So they showed off the first foldable OLED displays back at CES 2011, but they've been working on this technology many years before that. So I'm really looking forward to the future of smartphones, because at the moment, we've pretty much reached the pinnacle of smartphone design, with the removal of the notch and those really thin bezels and, a full screen display design. That's pretty much where smartphone design will end. So this is why we need something like a foldable device, because that is going to replace tablets altogether. But yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on all of this, everything that I mentioned in this video, the foldable iPhone and also the Galaxy Fold that's coming this year, and the Xiaomi phone and the Huawei phone. More videos on those topics here. Don't forget to subscribe, and notifications if you want to see more Leaks and Rumors episodes like this one. Hit the bell icon so that you get notified as soon as a brand new video comes out. And also don't forget to follow on Instagram for some cool behind the scenes stuff. And I don't know, some cool outside of YouTube content. Also follow ZONEofTECH for literally just concepts if you're into that as well. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'm Daniel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. ZONEofTECH signing out. Cheers.